Hey guys, mahal everyone, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, bringing you guys another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In this video, we're going to be covering the next upcoming story event hitting Global DFFOO, which is going to be Act 2, Chapter 3. With the release of this story event, we're going to be seeing a brand new character joining the roster of Global DFFOO, which is going to be Final Fantasy IX's Freya. On top of that, we're also going to be seeing reworks for two characters we already have, which are going to be Zidane and Vivi. Now, the details for those reworks are going to be covered on a separate video, but it's exciting because these characters are going to have a lot better abilities. They're going to be hopefully used more because they're definitely going to be stronger with what they get with these reworks. Now, don't forget, because we are getting a brand new character, Freya is going to have her 5-star armors, both her Tier 1 and her Tier 2 5-star armors, available in the armor token shop for purchase. So if you have armor tokens available and you decide to use Freya, she's actually a pretty good character. I suggest you highly do so in getting the gear that she needs as far as armor wise. Now, if you have those red crystals saved up, those red high shards, they're also going to be great because Freya is a red crystal character, and that way you can unlock as many passes for her as soon as you unlock her. Now, with the release of Act 2 Chapter 3, there's also something that's going to be debuting, which is going to be the Cosmos difficulty. Now, with this story event, we're also going to be getting a separate quest that we can access, and we're going to be able to fight against 2 Ice Gigas bosses, which are brand new boss types that we haven't seen before in Global DFFOO. There is going to be a Cosmos version of that stage, and we are going to be covering the details of that fight, but this is the introduction to the Cosmos era. This is going to be much harder than the current EX difficulties that we're all used to, so just be ready for that. If you guys have any questions about how to do Cosmos or how to prepare, especially before this story event comes out, there's a lot of great topics, there's a lot of great threads, especially on the DFFOO Reddit. You can also check out the official DFFOO Discord. There's a lot of players there that play both JP and Global who can give you some insight on how to handle this coming Cosmos era. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and talk about the character herself, Freya, what her kit is and what she brings to us, and if she's going to be for fun or for glory. So to start things off, we're going to talk about the 2 framed buffs that she has within her kit. The first one is called Raises Wind, and we're going to talk about Raises Wind with all passives considered. So first of all, it lasts for 9 turns. It increases Freya's max brave by 80%. It will grant HP regen to the party based on 10% of max HP. The HP regen is going to be applied to the party, or your allies, as an aura. So as long as this framed buff is active on Freya herself and it doesn't get dispelled, your party benefits from that HP regen. It will also be changing her brave attack to jump, which heals Freya's brave by 70% of her own attack, and then delivers a 2-hit range brave attack with a 160% brave damage potency. Her second framed buff is going to be Dragon Crest. Again, we're going to be talking about this framed buff with all passives equipped. This one lasts for 5 turns. It is stackable up to 5 stacks. It increases attack and speed based on the stacks, and they are as follows. So attack is increased by either 10, 20, 40, 60, or 80% depending on the stack, and then the speed is increased by either 8, 10, 12, 16, or 20%, again dependent on the stacks of Dragon Crest. Now, it's also going to be changing Freya's HP attack to High Jump, which is a 1-hit range Brave plus HP attack with an 80% Brave damage potency, recovering allies' Brave by 20% of the HP damage she deals. So overall, I really do like these framed buffs. One of the things that sticks out to me is that HP regen. So for example, we have somebody like Lena. Her HP regen is actually better at 20%, but Freya is actually a great option if you don't have Lena built up. And I really do like how she gives that HP regen, allowing your allies to be able to recover HP, allowing them to be able to survive, which is going to be very, very important, again, since we are going to be seeing the release of the Cosmos era. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at Freya's abilities, with the first one being Raises Wind, has the same name as her framed buff. So this is going to be considered with her 15 CP and C level 55 passives equipped, but this has a max skill usage of 4. What it does is it heals the party's brave based on 50% of max brave, and then it grants that Raises Wind frame buff for 9 turns, and then afterwards Freya deals HP damage. Now her second ability is called Dragon Breath. Again, we're going to be taking a look at this ability with 35 CP and C level 60 passives equipped. This has a max skill usage of 8. It is going to be a 5-hit ranged AoE brave attack plus HP attack. It does deal 50% HP splash damage to other targets. It will be increased increased in Brave damage dealt to a single target by 1.5 times. It does have a 250% Brave damage potency. Brave can overflow with this ability up to 150% of max Brave. It grants 2 stacks of Dragon Crest frame buff for 5 turns. It will grant an additional stack of Dragon Crest if this ability is breaking a target or if it's already attacking a broken target. One of the greatest things, again, like what I said, like I love about Freya's kit, is that first of all, it's simple, and second of all, it also helps the party out, not only being a Brave battery, but also giving them HP regen. And then I also do like how her second ability is able to deal with multiple opponents. Now, I wish it could have been 100% AoE HP damage, but hey, Splash is still pretty good, especially it's at 50%, so that's pretty cool. And then to top it off, Freya is constantly increasing not only her speed, but also her offensive capability with the Dragon Crest frame buff, and as well as Raises Wind frame buff. So overall, I do like her abilities. I do think it is very good for this character. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at her Crystal passive, starting off with Crystal passive level 5, Raises Wind. It Raises Wind Light, it lowers the action delay for Raises Wind. Chase bonus increase in chase Brave damage during the chase launch sequence at 20%. Receive heal up, 10% increase to HP heals received. I believe this also counts for HP regen heals. Sea level 25, Dragon Breath power up, increasing the Brave damage dealt by Dragon Breath. Break bonus up, 20% increase in break bonus gain from breaking an enemy. Raises Wind charge, it gives you an additional usage to Raises Wind, and that's pretty good because it starts off at 3, so adding that will give you 4. And then afterwards at level 40, jump power up, 10% Brave damage increase for jump and the high jump commands. Dragon Breath charge, +1 usage to Dragon Breath. And then her sea level 50 is called Burmesian Dragon Knight, which increases the party's attack and max Brave by 10% while Freya is buffed. It has a CP cost of 20. At sea level 54, buff boost and speed all, 40% max Brave and small speed increase to the party while Freya is buffed. At 55, Raises Wind Extend, increases Brave heal by 20% and is now applied to the party, and it also deals HP damage now with this passive and changes the Brave attack to the jump command, CP cost 15. Sea level 58, buff attack and speed up, 40% attack and small speed increase while buffed. And then finally, sea level 60, Dragon Breath Extend, increases Dragon Breath's Brave damage potency by 50%. It also allows the ability to overflow up to 150% of max Brave. It adds that 50% HP splash damage to other targets, and then it also adds that feature where if you break a target or attacking a broken target, you're going to grant an additional stack of the Dragon Crest frame buff, and it changes the HP attack to high jump at a CP cost of 15. One of the coolest things that I like about Freya's passives, first of all, is her sea level 51. It's an aura that helps the party. So that's always good that a character's aura actually benefits the party rather than just benefiting themselves. And then to top it off, she also has her sea level 54 one, which increases max Brave and also increases speed for the party. So very, very good passives. The ones that stand out to me for sure are going to be her level 50 and her 54. Now we're going to take a look at what artifact passives are available to her and which ones you should be going for if you decide to build up the artifact passives for Freya. So first of all, we have Bravery Raises Wind 1-star, 2-star. She raises Brave by 5 or 10% based on initial Brave after she uses Raises Wind. Then she has Mighty Dragon Breath 1-star, 2-star, a 5 or 10% Brave damage increase to that ability. And then she gets Burmesian Dragon Knight Boost 1-star, 2-star, which increases the effects of that passive either by 2 or 5%. And then finally, Brave Guard Up 1-star, 2-star, 5 or 10% defense increase when Brave is 50% or greater than max Brave. If you want to build up this character, the recommended passives are definitely Burmesian Dragon Knight Boost because it does apply to the party. And then afterwards, you'd want Attack plus 108, so then that way she could deal even more Brave damage. And then afterwards, a third would be Max Brave plus 330. Overall thoughts about this character after we know what she can do. She is actually very well built for Cosmos. I said this before on other videos and also my previous streams, but Freya, even though she does not get an EX weapon upon her release for this story event, she's very, very good for Cosmos. She's a great substitute for Lena, and what's cool about her is that I feel like she deals more damage than Lena too, because Lena, even though she's amazing at utility, I mean, utility-wise right now, I'm gonna say it right here, nobody beats her. Initial Brave down, she gets a battery, she also increases everybody's initial Brave if you have her EX, she has a 20% HP regen, so utility-wise, Lena just kills it. But Damage-wise, she hits kind of like, she hits with a wet, she hits like a wet noodle. You know, that's what the term that everybody has been saying that Lenna's issue is. So Freya, if you don't have Lena built up, is actually an amazing substitute that you could use for the Cosmos era in not only supporting the party, but also being able to dish out damage. So she is a great character, definitely a for fun character. She's also very free-to-play friendly because if you don't decide to pull on this banner, at least you can use those saved up weapon tokens to at least purchase her 35 CP weapon. Now, with the release of this story event, we're going to be seeing a banner, and this banner is going to have Freya's weapons, her 15 and 35. It's also going to be refeaturing Zidane's EX weapon, which is celebrating, I assume it's celebrating his rework for this, and we're also going to be seeing the debut of Vivi's EX weapon. So Vivi's EX weapon is the brand new EX weapon that is going to be featured on this upcoming story banner. Let's go ahead and take a look at the brand new weapons that's going to be on this banner. So the first one is 15 CP Javelin for Freya. It increases the Brave Heal potency by 20% for Raise's Wind. It doubles the potencies of Raise's Wind framed buff. So those percentages, it's doubled, and then afterwards it extends its duration to 9 turns. Her 35 CP Mithril Spear increases Dragon Breath's Brave damage potency by 100%. The Brave damage dealt to a target is now increased by 1.5 times. It doubles the potencies of Dragon Crest frame buff, and it also allows Freya to grant 2 stacks of Dragon Crest instead of 1 after using Dragon's Breath. And then finally, the EX weapon, which is going to be Octagon Rod for Vivi, equips the EX ability Meteor 9, which is going to be a 3-hit non-elemental AoE Brave AoE magic brave attack plus HP attack. The HP damage is split evenly amongst multiple targets. Brave can overflow with this EX ability up to 150% of max Brave. It does grant double black magic frame buff for 4 turns, and it changes HP attack to the W fire command. It has a 240% Brave damage potency. If you decide to limit break this weapon, 3 out of 3 limit break is going to permanently increase Vivi's attack by 10% and max Brave by 20%. Overall thoughts on this banner, it's actually not bad of a banner. There's 2 EX weapons featured on it. Both characters on this banner get a rework, and we also get a brand new character in Freya with her 15 CP and 35 CP being featured. But is this banner worth pulling on? It would have been if there wasn't such an overflowing amount of amazing EX weapons coming out in the month of August. So the month of August is already being talked about. I'm pretty sure on the next Square Enix community stream, they're going to be talking about the events. Who do we know is going to be coming out in August for Global? Zac and his level 60. Very powerful, offensive attack, amazing EX weapon. Then afterwards, the ever so talked about Vayne. Turn shenanigans, does a lot of melee damage, doesn't take up the turn count, has no action delay, amazing character for Cosmos, so his event is coming out. And then afterwards, more than likely, we're going to be seeing Ultimate Trial Shiva, which is going to be debuting Sarah's rework as well as her EX weapon. Her EX weapon is actually very powerful. She's an amazing debuffer as well as a battery. And then afterwards, we get Rydia's EX weapon. I'm actually pretty excited for that, even though Rydia herself, her awakening is pretty cool, but it's nothing to be super excited about like the other 3 weapons that I talked about. So with this banner currently that we're getting for Act 2, Chapter 3, it's a pretty good banner, but if you're only going into it to go for Freya, which is what I'm going to do, I'm honestly just going to use my weapon tokens that I saved up to pick up her 35 CP weapon, and I already have the resources to max limit break it and level it. I'm not really going to chase after Vivi. Despite his rework actually making him really powerful, he's still locked to that fire element, which unfortunately, if the boss happens to either resist or even absorb fire, Vivi is kind of, you're not going to be using him. I mean, you can definitely use him for the Cosmos fight, which is what we're going to be talking about next, because those bosses are actually weak to fire, but he is still a situational character. Zidane, actually, his rework, his abilities get really, really good, so if you get his EX weapon, it's kind of like a quality of life for him in a sense, because his other abilities, his base abilities, actually surpass his EX weapon currently. So should you pull on this banner? I would honestly save your gems. If you decide to throw some tickets at it, great. But if you're only chasing Freya's 35, I would highly recommend just using your weapon tokens. Now, if you decide to pass on this banner, Vivi's EX weapon in particular does repeat. The first time that it repeats is on a banner alongside Thancred's EX weapon, and then afterwards it comes back again, featured alongside Lion's EX weapon. So it's actually been refeatured twice already on JP. It could change on the global version of the game, but if you decide not to pull for these weapons now, that's when these particular weapons will be repeating. All right, so now we're going to be talking about the Ice Gigas, excuse me, Cosmos fight. I'm so excited. Sometimes I just lose my words. First of all, I do want to give a big shout out and credits to Rem. If you guys don't know who he is the owner of the Dissidia DB website. Amazing website. You guys should check it out. The footage that you're seeing for this particular fight, just to give you guys a visual, is actually coming from his gameplay that he recorded a while back when this event first came out. So thank you, Rem, for allowing me to use your gameplay footage for this as I talk about the fight. But anyways, the Ice Gigas Cosmos fight. First of all, these bosses are both weak to fire. They have no resistances, however, they do absorb ice, and makes sense, they are the Ice Gigas bosses. There's going to be 2 of them, and they both actually have a chase value of only 30, so they're pretty easy to launch. Now, some key abilities you want to look out for. First one is Boulders. This is going to be an Earth range Brave attack. It inflicts initial Brave down, which is really annoying. It has a turn rate increase when either it breaks the target or if they attack a broken target. Then they also have a similar ability, however, it's called Blizzard Fist. This one is an Ice melee Brave attack. This one inflicts speed down, and it does the same thing. If they use this ability, and if they either break a target, or if they're already attacking a broken target, they have a pretty high turn rate. And then finally, you want to watch out for Ice Quake, because it is an AoE magic Brave attack. Brave can overflow with this ability, which is pretty scary, and this also does have a high turn rate. So the gimmick with these bosses is they have all these abilities that like to increase their turn rate whenever they break a target. So having a very powerful battery, for example, Lena, or having a very powerful battery such as Freya, for example, because she will be synergy for this particular quest, is going to definitely help out, because if you get broken, there's a high chance that these bosses may one-shot the next character that they're targeting, because high turn rate means that once they use this ability, there's a really high chance that they're probably going to be taking their next turn almost immediately. So you want to watch out for that. And something that I do want to point out is that there's a wave before this particular fight where you fight against a Lamia Queen and an Echo mannequin and a Zidane mannequin. First of all, that wave, all of those 3 targets have very high HP, so you might find yourselves using a lot of abilities. So ability management is going to be very important, especially for the Cosmos version of this fight. And to top it off, on that particular wave, both the Echo and the Zidane mannequins actually have their 15 and 35 CP passive abilities available to them, so there's a chance that they can also one-shot, like especially Zidane with his, the free energy ability, his second ability. There's a really very high chance if that mannequin already has some Brave, that they can one-shot a character. So you want to be careful. You want to watch out for that when taking on this particular Cosmos fight, and then also watch out for the Ice Gigas bosses using those high turn rate abilities. Now, there's going to be another boss that I want to talk about and give you guys details on. This is going to be the final boss for Act 2, Chapter 3. This is going to be the Soul Cage boss, and what's cool about this boss is it was actually a boss from Final Fantasy IX. So a lot of Final Fantasy IX love coming in with this upcoming story event. So details on Soul Cage. So first of all, this boss is weak to ice and holy. It doesn't resist anything, however, it absorbs wind. It has a chase HP value of 50, so it has a little bit of a higher chase HP value compared to other bosses. Now, some key things to look out for when you're fighting this boss. First of all, if you deal it fire damage, it will trigger a Brave heal that it gives to itself, and then its stats will increase. And you'll know when this happens because there's going to be fire that literally engulfs the top part of this boss, and then afterwards there's going to be words appearing saying like the fire has been lit up or something like that. So that's what's going to happen. It's also going to be giving itself HP and Brave regen in the form of generic buffs. However, the fire can be put out with an ice attack, and when you do that, it will take off the stat increases. It's also going to be taking away the regens that it gives to itself. A lot of this boss's abilities have a host of debuffs, so you want to be very careful because of the debuffs that this boss inflicts, they can actually push off any kind of buffs that you have, because remember, there is that 6 buff debuff limit that you can have on a character. And then finally, it does have a recast ability called Leaf Swirl, so essentially it's like its super move that it charges up. What this does is it heals its own Brave. It deals AoE, magic, Brave plus HP attack, and it inflicts attack, defense, speed, initial, and max Brave down, and action penalty up, which essentially means anytime you use an ability, you're going to have your next turn is not going to be coming up right away. It's actually going to be having a chance of it being delayed. So that's very, very dangerous. And to top it off, this ability also changes to fire blades after it uses it, which is a stronger version of Leaf Swirl. And at level 150, it will actually do something else where it reduces the party's initial brave. And you can tell that this happens because there's going to be these words that appear that says an eerie air permeates. And also what happens too is it also increases its stats. And when it increases its stats, when that happens, it is not in the form of a buff. So maybe taking a debuffer could definitely help alleviate some of the damage it's going to do when this actually happens. So overall, it's probably going to be a fairly challenging fight. The hard version is it's around like a level 150 difficulty, something like that. Just be prepared. If you're going to be taking VV, just be aware that you're actually kind of helping the boss out because you're actually buffing its stats. So if you want to take VV for nostalgia because of the nature of the fight from how it was in Final Fantasy IX, just be aware of that. But taking characters, you could probably do like a double Quistis and like delay it, like time your delays. For summons, I would definitely take either Bahamut or Shiva. Take Freya definitely because she definitely helps with her HP regen, or if you decide not to take her, you could take somebody like Lena. Taking Zidane would work too. Again, I will be going over his rework and Vivi's rework on a separate video, but his rework, he does get a unique debuff that actually helps manage this fight. So then that way, when the boss actually increases its stats, Zidane actually has that frame debuff. It can't be pushed off. It can only be dispelled by the boss itself. So it helps, again, being able to manage this fight. But we're actually going to go ahead and jump into that fight. As you can see behind me on the screen, you see Freya there. She's just been waiting. She's like, 40, come on, get on with the video. They want to see the gameplay visual showcase. But this is Freya. She is already level 70 on the JP version of the game. The party that I am going to be taking is, I'm actually going to be taking Papalymo. Now you guys are going to be wondering, why are you taking Papalymo? He uses fire. Didn't you just say fire helps the boss? Well, I want you guys to see the animation, so then that way you guys know what to look out for. And then we're going to be taking Beatrix because she's really OP right now in JP. And the friend unit that I'm going to be taking for this visual showcase is going to be Lan and Rain, and we're going to be taking the Shiva summon. All right, so here we go. So this is going to be the first wave right here, just your standard mobs. And something cool to note is that the Act 2 Chapter 3 map, very reminiscent of Final Fantasy IX. What I really enjoy about these Act 2 maps is that they essentially give you like a visual of the character that is essentially the universe of where the character is from. Like, for example, Act 2 Chapter 2, we had Paladin Cecil as the brand new character, so then the map was very reminiscent of Mount Ordeals. It's no exception with this one, where we have, you know, kind of like the forest from Final Fantasy IX, and then on another part of the map is like the Burmecia Kingdom or something like that, like the ruins. So it's pretty cool. I really like how they did that with this. All right, so this is going to be the Soul Cage. Again, very cool to see this boss because this was a pretty famous boss from Final Fantasy IX. I do remember fighting this boss in Final Fantasy IX. Okay, so we're gonna purposely attack it with a fire attack. Boom. So it does damage, but look at this. Oh, it caught on fire. So that's what happens. Those words will pop up, and then afterwards it also grants the regen to itself. And don't forget, it does increase its stats, but those are not in the form of buffs. But then let's see here, with Freya, we're going to go ahead and use Raise's Wind. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and use Thunder Slash. I'm going to allow the boss to use its recast ability or its super move, so then that way you guys also get to see that too. So now we're going to go ahead and put the fire out. So there we go, we put it out. It loses the regen. Okay. So Papalymo's being targeted. We're gonna go ahead and just spam his ice ability since it is weak to it. And I did forget to mention, but I do have Papalymo's EX weapon. Not fully max limit broken as far as EX plus wise, but I do have it. So you guys will get to see that in action. Here it is. And just like, and in correlation to his abilities, the EX element is dependent on which element is currently active on Papalymo as far as which ability you use first. So right now it was his ice move, so that's why it was the ice element. This is Clim Hazard ++. So this is what Beatrix gets in the future. So Beatrix fans, you made a great investment if you pulled on her back when Global got her early, because at least you'll be ready for when she gets her level 70, her rework, and her EX plus later on in Global. She's really, really strong right now. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. Get a little bit of Brave, because it's gonna be using its super move fairly soon. Alright, so that wasn't it, but it's going to be using it next turn. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to purposely break. I'm going to deal some damage and break him. And then afterwards, I'm going to build... we're going to build Brave with Beatrix. Okay, so do this. Get some Brave. Alright, so this is going to be Leaf Swirl. And as you can see, the annoying thing about it is all those debuffs. So those debuffs is something that you're going to have to be dealing with should this ability hit you. But we're going to go ahead and reactivate Raise's Wind here. Alright, I'm going to purposely light it on fire again. Just cause I don't want to run out of the other abilities. Okay, let's see the fire version of Papalymo's EX here. Alright, and now we're gonna bring in Lawn and Rain and just summon. Lawn and Rain did receive a rework and a level 70. We're gonna be seeing their EX plus version of their EX ability here. So something they got with their EX Plus is their EX actually has overflow, which is I know one of the biggest complaints about Lawn and Rain was their lack of overflow. So they do have it when they get their rework and their level 70 and their EX Plus. Okay, the boss is almost down. Just gonna spam Blizzard and Water since I know that the boss has a natural weakness to ice. Okay, fight's almost over. Just a little bit more HP to go at. Boss actually has a lot of HP. Oh, and it's gonna light itself on fire. There we go. I do find it interesting that it doesn't absorb fire. It still hurts it, but it makes it stronger right after. And there we go. So that is going to be the final boss stage on the Act 2 Chapter 3. That is the hard mode. I did say earlier it was like I thought it was level 150. It's around level 120, so it's fairly challenging, but with the right party setup, it shouldn't be too difficult. But anyways, guys, hopefully that gameplay visual showcase gets you guys prepared, get you guys hyped up for this upcoming Act 2 Chapter 3. Don't forget, I will be showcasing the reworks for Vivi and Zidane on a separate video. I'll have that out either today or by tomorrow upon the making of this video. But thank you guys for watching. Again, get hyped for this upcoming story event. This is 40 the Broadway Saiyan. Stay tuned for the next video, and mahal, everyone.